Just a few minutes and then we can start. Thank you. Buongiorno a tutti, sono Lola Patumi dello staff del ProMIS e iniziamo con il webinar European Mhealth Hub, strumenti, modelli e prassi per lo sviluppo e l'implementazione di programmi di mHealth. Questo webinar è stato organizzato nell'ambito dell'attività formativa del ProMIS in collaborazione con i 3 beneficiari del progetto, OMS, ITU e Andalusia. Il webinar si propone di diffondere alle regioni italiane le opportunità e gli strumenti offerti da Mhealth Hub nello sviluppo di programmi sanitari mobili. Il webinar mira anche a far incontrare la offerta di soluzioni di mHealth, rappresentando le aree prioritarie affrontate dal Servizio Sanitario Regionale e le soluzioni disponibili sul mercato. Pertanto, senza dilungarmi nelle presentazioni, lascio la parola al primo intervento di questa mattina che riguarda il progetto European Mhealth Hub, risultati e ulteriori sviluppi. Pertanto lascio la parola a Brigitte Morlion della DG Connect, Violetta Perez Nuevo dell'OMS, Simona Pestina dell'ITU e Belen Sotillos dell'Andalusia. Grazie.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for inviting us to this webinar. on the European Mhealth Hub project and sharing experience on Mhealth. So for years we have been working in the European Commission on technology to facilitate Mhealth, e-health, digital health. But then back in 2017 we realized that technology alone will not do the trick and will not help us in this digital transformation of our healthcare interactions, but that there are other dimensions to mHealth than only the performance of the technology. So we discovered that upscaling technology from pilot projects, integrating into the real health and care systems, that's not such an easy challenge, and that throughout Europe we can support each other, we can learn from each other experiences, and also look into evidence that was generated on a regional, national level that other regions could then use to implement mHealth applications in their local health and care systems. So that's why back in 2017 at the Commission we decided that we would need a one-stop shop for mHealth, and where regions, member states can have access to implementation support for if they want to integrate mHealth more into their national health systems. And that's when we started this mHealth Hub project with partners that have a lot of experience in the domain, the ITU, the International Telecoms Unit, WHO, the World Health Organization, and then the Andalusian Health Ministry. And so that was the birth of the mHealth Hub project. And since then they worked very hard. And so we will today present you what's already available, which products are there, which experiences, and learning from each other, not reinventing the wheel, and building up on existing knowledge is very important in order to further support the digitization of our health and care systems. So Simona, I'll hand over to you for the rest of the presentation.
You're mute, Simona.
Okay. Is fine now? Yeah? Can you hear now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Birgit. Thank you to ProMIS organizers. It's a pleasure for us and for me to be here and to present an introduction of the mHealth Hub project. So we'll do an overview, then we'll provide the description, high-level description of the products. We will talk about engagement opportunities, pathways towards a sustainability for the mHealth Hub, the duration of the project, a few key messages. Okay, so the European mHealth Knowledge and Innovation Hub is a project to share national experiences on mobile health and to help countries and regions implementing and introducing mHealth programs. The project is funded, as we all know, by the European Commission under Horizon 2020 program. It's a joint collaboration between WHO, European Commission, and the Ministry of Health of Andalusia, Spain. The implementer of the hub was selected by the ITU and WHO and represents this comprehensive consortium of 18 private and public institutions from across Europe, and which is led by the Andalusia Public Health System. The hub was launched in February 2020 in Geneva, and our main dissemination platform is the website that you can access at the link on the top of this slide. The hub will produce a set of integrated knowledge tools to support and guide the countries in the adoption and implementation of mobile health programs. The first knowledge tool is on the assessment of mobile applications, and we analyze the existing assessment frameworks, and we identify the most relevant criteria to assess the quality, the reliability, usability, and effectiveness of the apps. But also potential of common elements of mutual recognition between these assessment frameworks. Then we aim also to provide some recommendations and guidance to countries for adoption of their assessment frameworks. The second knowledge tool is about an intervention-specific mHealth program. It's based on the assessment of countries' needs. And due to its relevance in Europe, we chose to tackle diabetes and provide a framework or roadmap to include diabetes programs in the national health systems. For this, we adopt a user-centric and modular approach depending on the maturity level of the country. The third knowledge tool is on the integration of mHealth into national health systems, and we look at all these cross-cutting areas that needs to be handled at system level, like data governance, change management procedures, accreditation processes, data sharing and integration with electronic health records, data privacy and security, so on and so forth. It is intended to be a generic tool in nature that can be picked up by countries and adapted to context depending on the needs and again on the maturity level of the technology in the country. Another product at policy level will contribute towards a European policy framework in support of innovations in mobile health domain and also in the cross-border sharing and adoption of innovations. Central to the hub is the service portfolio that will wrap up the above mentioned knowledge tools and products into tangible products for the countries and will provide additional access to resources like networking, expertise, and so on. Last but not least, we look at ethics issues for the project, around the adoption and uptake of mHealth in general. Here is just an example of a snapshot of the website where we presented different work areas and we invite you to take a look and to browse this material. And the last overall slide would be on the Hub Talks that we organized a series of these Hub Talks for 2021. And the upcoming one, it's on 17th of June on the mHealth assessment frameworks. We held other three on integration of mHealth in health systems, on ethics, and on policies. They are all, you can hear them. I think they are posted on YouTube, and you can have access to these talks if you visit the Hub website. So that would be the introductory part, and now I hand over to my colleague Belen, I guess, who will dive into Hub products.
Okay, thank you. Simona, if you don't mind, I will say next slide when needed. Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone, and buongiorno to Italian colleagues. We will not have time, definitely, to explain in detail everything that the Hub is doing, because after a challenging beginning and with several difficulties to overcome, now we are producing, and if you follow our social media or Hub website, you will see that more products are coming, and also in the next months, it will be stressed also with other things like the service portfolio or the work with the countries that are also in this webinar. As Simona said, we are not alone. We are along with a wide consortium with different variety of expertise. I think we are lucky because we have some of the most outstanding organizations working in mHealth in Europe, as you explained. Regarding to this first topic of assessment, we have done several things. In the report, you can see that we have reviewed more than 20 frameworks, and also we have detected around 20 health repositories. And we have also made interaction with the community and with the owners. And tomorrow's talk is a show of it, and you can still register to that. Now in this month, we are enriching the work done with some additional work, like some guidance or orientations for setting up a framework. Also some extracting some elements about aspects that could be enriched, innovative elements that we found, or also exploring a little bit this idea of the mutual recognition or the commonalities among frameworks. That there is no magical result, of course, but there are some things that we detected that we found out and we want to share. Next one, please. Okay, here I will go more or less quicker because I have already mentioned the hub talk. You can get to the resources, or even if you were interested in your region or at national level to implement some assessment framework for health apps, we have start taking many information, and probably we could initiate a conversation to help you on this. Next one, please. Here, well, this is too technical. I think we can go to the next one. It was a way of illustrating the coverage of the criteria. To what extent the different frameworks cover that. So now it comes the knowledge tool too. We have also the pleasure to have here Vincenzo Daluca and Madalena Iario that led this work, and I will try just to summarize, so apologize in advance for any imprecision about this. The main goal has been to provide guidance according to validating the innovative practice based on personas approach, right? You can see here that they have tried to start doing some one user-friendly tool that can guide countries through different what we have called building blocks and also some indicators, and they have provided a kind of algorithm or structure in order to match the needs a country or a region might have and the available solutions. They have focused in diabetes, but this schema can be applicable to other things. Next one, please. Okay, here you can see that we will do probably an event in September. The deliverable has just been submitted, and it is on the website, so you can also comment on that. And of course, there is
You are mute, Belen. Belen?
Yes, sorry. It was just this second, right? Okay, sorry. Next one, please. Okay, and there is other knowledge tools in which we are working on. We expect to have all the work ready through the summer. We have more different topics, and what we have tried to do is to give some guidance, but very focused on the stage or in the topic that one might be interested in, the sense that, for example, if I'm interested in how to apply interoperability with existing systems, or I want to focus on cultural change, I can see this is more about a way of structuring information. So if you go to the next slide, you can see that we have gathered many experiences from across Europe, and there are already on the Hub website. So if you go to the work areas, you can see there. And on this information and also some of this research, you will have like more a guidance document or a document a bit more structured. Next one, please. Okay, so here we already did a talk, but you have there all the information. When the deliverable is ready, will be there. So we have an open approach to invite everybody to collaborate. Next one, please. Okay, this is about the policy framework. I presented Simona, right? In a brief manner. Yeah. Okay, so what this working group is doing is to gather and to construct some elements that might lead to a policy framework for adoption of health in the countries, because sometimes it's not just about a hospital doing something; it's more about a general policy measure. So they have used different desk research, countries interviews, and they have also started with two specific content, that is innovation areas. You have here the link, and also they are advancing on the some learning materials for open source, and it will be ready in the next months. Next one, please. And here again, we did a talk, and everything will be shared. Next one. Okay, and the last part is the ethics. We did a talk, and we have provided some specific products. I invite you to visit. Is the Mhealth Hub a quick guide for ethics, and also an annotated bibliography, so you can find it in the website. Next one, please. Here you see the infographic with the 4 different principles. Next one. And also last year, because this project was intended for non-communicable diseases, but we reacted to the situation, and we have created things at the COVID Hub apps repository, that at the beginning we think it was useful to see how different countries were advancing on that. Next one. I think, sorry, I'm not sure. This is also.
Thank you, Belen. Thank you. An Mhealth Hub service portfolio is, as Simona told at the beginning, is being shaped in the areas as you see here: knowledge library of success factors, initiatives, solutions, and evaluation evidence, also networking resources, expertise resources, and catalog, which has namely access to resource and library expertise, support country and health implementation, education, network and advocacy, and membership services, including collaboration and partnership between others. Next slide. We would like to take the opportunity, we have you all here today, to reflect about these questions you have here, and you can come back to us in the email you will see in this presentation. And next slide, please. And participate, as we are saying here, in helping shaping the Hub service portfolio. Thank you very much in advance. This is the contact us info@mhealthhub.org. Next slide, please. Regarding engagement opportunities, next slide, please. The engagement opportunities are a response to the increased demands from countries and regions for supporting digital health. And between them, examples of concrete possibilities of engagement are this country region implementation and scaling up of disease-specific national health programs, co-creating content for the Hub products and services, for example, development of new tools and knowledge assets that could promote sustainable, effective health integration and implementation. Piloting Hub products and services like assessment frameworks, implementation toolkits, or mHealth services that Belen was showing before, providing policy guidance and recommendations on mHealth, sharing lessons learned, implementing mHealth projects and initiatives, as well as evidence-based findings, and strategic support, for instance, as pioneer country in any particular aspect on e-health on mHealth. Next slide, please. Regarding the levels of engagement opportunities, we are showing here 3 options. The option 1 on implementation and scaling up of disease-specific national health programs, as outlined in the Hub toolkits, with 5 components: operations, content, technology, recruitment, and evaluation. And as Belen showed before, we are now specifically working on diabetes with some countries, but there are other toolkits available. You are free to look at them. On the option 2, the countries are welcome to engage on piloting European health knowledge tools like assessment frameworks, implementation toolkits or health services, policy guidance on health, and co-creation of knowledge tools, and sharing lessons learned from existing national health programs. And option 3, which is a strategic support option, for example, co-organizing workshops together in order to support and well advance the implementation of large-scale health programs, or the bilateral dissemination of the health programs together, sharing and participation in events between the country and the Health Hub, and showing different solutions and offering support and knowledge sharing. Or networking between the country and the Health Hub to share resources, knowledge, and implementation plans, and also in collaboration with other UN centers. Or also a secondment can be possible for a couple of years, moving forward the digital agenda of the country, sharing either resources like financial in kind or staffing contribution, expertise, funding, in order to be able to leverage the e-health or the mHealth development in the country, sharing the lessons learned, which is, for instance, what Norway did with COPD and asthma, with the mBreathly toolkit that they developed and shared the lessons learned with all the other countries. Next slide, please. So the engagement steps are review the knowledge tools and the hub products we are showing here today, select a knowledge tool or a hub product to support, assess the digital health maturity level of your country or region, assess the political willingness, prepare the expression of interest letter from the governor, explore the funding options, and follow up with us to discuss next steps. Next slide, please. For example, as we mentioned, we are currently supporting countries on their tailored support needs. And for example, for Hungary, we are supporting with a strategy and roadmap for the implementation and setup of the large-scale health intervention in the area of diabetes management, co-creating the Janus persona as a medium-age Hungarian type 2 diabetes patient taking oral anti-diabetic drugs, and understanding the pain points as specific gaps or problems in the workflow of the evening health services. We will have our representative of Hungary afterwards giving more details. Next slide, please. Also for Czech Republic, we are supporting them with the development of an implementation guideline for mHealth applications, including mHealth funding and reimbursement models, as well as available tools for multidimensional health promotion, based on the available expertise from other countries, such as Germany or other relevant countries in the different sections of this implementation guideline. And we will also have the pleasure to have the representative of Czech Republic speaking afterwards. We are also collaborating with other countries like Finland, Germany, Austria, Turkey, Croatia, Poland, and the Regional Cooperation Council of the Western Balkans with the 6 Western Balkans economies in the aforementioned engagement options like strategic support, sharing lessons learned, co-creating content for hub products and services, and piloting these hub products and services. Next slide, please. Regarding a global perspective, the Big Healthy Mobile initiative set up by the WHO and ITU is moving forward towards a global network of digital health hubs to create a network between European Health Hub and other hubs, and this network to be able to share knowledge, resources, and program implementation plans, supporting countries, regions, and institutions, searching for guidance from the hub's lessons learned, sharing the hub's infrastructure and content to facilitate the program implementation and lessons learned in terms of mHealth frameworks and policies, and the network for cross-disseminating and co-organizing activities and events on digital health solutions, offering support and knowledge sharing from implementing mHealth programs. That is a network in collaboration with existing UN centers in countries. Next slide, please. Regarding the hub sustainability, the hub team is moving the way forward in achieving its self-sustainability with a country demands driven and innovation vision, sustainable and continuous development of the tools and services, consistent and coherent support to countries operating in a sound business model for being a sustainable entity in the long run. As we have shown, the hub is receiving more and more demands from the countries, from different services and actions, and we will be there supporting them in building all the tools necessary and the technology and innovation trends necessary to help them. So the hub team has developed a plan for a transition phase to self-sustainability built around its service portfolio of the 4 service areas that I just shown, business model, and a roadmap for countries' engagement. Next slide, please. Also, knowledge tools as a service and funding opportunities and partnerships. Next slide, please. In this business model that I mentioned, it takes into account the strategic management and lean startup for developing new existing business models, as well as a framework with a value proposition development, needs assessment, market analysis and the research, competitive analysis, and the business process modeling, as well as the cost-benefit analysis. Next slide, please. These knowledge tools as a service that I mentioned are meant as a service delivery model for adoptions by countries as key success factor, integrated with tight interconnection to operationalization and capacity building, and the basis for consultancy services. Next slide, please. Regarding the funding and partnership opportunities, the Mhealth Hub is promoting its strengths as being the hub, an active and open network, and the focal reference point for Mhealth, as well as will be participating in the 21-22 EC Work Program. Next slide, please.
Okay.
Thanks, Simona.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so we got to the key messages. We would like to finish with a few takeaways. So a very important hub mission is to respond, as Violeta just described, to increase the demand from countries and regions for this uptake of digital health. We strongly invite countries, regions, or institutions to make use of this integrated set of knowledge tools that will be posted on the Hub website. Hub will hopefully continue to expand this knowledge based on the feedback loops in order to address these more complex and ever evolving topics that needs to be handled at system level. Then what the Hub is aiming to achieve, we think is very difficult and if not impossible to be tackled by one single organization or by one country alone. Therefore, we strongly appeal to the countries and to regions, to private institutions, to join forces in this global effort for developing cross-sectorial collaborations and strategic plans for the integration of mHealth into national health systems. We also encourage and we would like to have big participations of countries and regions in this active sharing of experiences and in learning processes from these experiences. So together we can achieve this desired impact on the national health systems. So we believe that if ultimately we can give countries and ministries or even public or private health institutions these tools and processes to validate and endorse the digital tools and to make meaningful sense of these digital innovations, not as ad hoc tools, but to include them in the DNA of their operations, we believe that the hub achieved its role. In particular, we reach out to this wide collaboration, in particular at these times of COVID-19 pandemic, when participation and a collective effort it's needed more than ever. And with this, I think we reached our final slide. Thank you very much. And now we can open to questions and answers, or
Grazie, thank you so much. Grazie a tutte le relatrici che hanno preso parte. Non ci sono al momento domande e vogliamo innanzitutto ringraziarli per questa importantissima panoramica che hanno fatto, molto esaustiva sulle attività del progetto. Ricordiamo che nella chat sono state condivise varie informazioni, quali ad esempio il link al sito web, e inoltre la mail con la quale poter contattare, e oltretutto sono stati anche condivisi è stato condiviso il link per poter partecipare all'Hub Talks di domani. Quindi se siete interessati potete prendere dalla chat tutti i link che trovate, oppure se vi siete connessi successivamente potete scriverci che li condivideremo noi da ProMIS con voi. Vi ricordiamo inoltre che tutte le presentazioni di questo webinar saranno disponibili nel nostro sito web a partire dalla prossima settimana. Informo chi si è collegato successivamente che il webinar è registrato ed è trasmesso anche in diretta nel nostro canale YouTube e troverete anche la registrazione nel nostro sito web. Quindi al momento non sono arrivate domande nella chat, quindi ringrazio veramente tutte le speaker e c'è solo un'informazione, ci hanno scritto qua, è molto interessato al Global Network, ok, però non vedo una domanda, pertanto io passerei la parola al relatore successivo che specificherà l'intervento su un knowledge tool che avete sentito nominare nella presentazione precedente e spiegherà come sviluppare un programma di mHealth per il diabete di tipo 2 mellito. La relatrice è Maddalena Illario dell'Università Federico II di Napoli, a cui lascio la parola.
Grazie mille, from ProMIS. Should I speak Italian or English?
Come preferisci, Madda, come preferisci. Comunque
allora,
abbiamo il servizio.
Ok, allora parlo italiano, va bene? Ok.
Va benissimo.
Allora, come ha già introdotto Lola Patumi, il focus di questa presentazione sarà offrire una panoramica sul tool KT2 che diciamo sviluppa un programma di supporto per l'implementazione, il disegno di implementazione di un programma di mobile health dedicato al diabete mellito e si inserisce, come già illustrato da Simona Pestina, all'interno di un gruppo di knowledge tools che forniscono in maniera coordinata e coerente un percorso, una traccia per disegnare in maniera personalizzata, per individuare in maniera personalizzata gli elementi, i tools che possono appunto supportare un programma di mobile health applicato ad una specifica. In particolare, gli obiettivi per il KT2 sono quelli di contribuire a fornire un catalogo di soluzioni di mobile health in sinergia con il KT1 che però sia specificatamente aggregato e dedicato al diabete di tipo 2 e fornire una guida per selezionare, adattare e implementare dei programmi su larga scala di mobile health focalizzati appunto sul diabete mellito di tipo 2. La metodologia che abbiamo utilizzato prevede un approccio che viene come dire, customizzato rispetto alle specifiche individuate dal paese, attraverso una analisi multidimensionale del fabbisogno che è stata, diciamo, in qualche maniera accennata anche da Belen in termini di analisi del fabbisogno, interviste, SWOT analysis, approfondita per l'individuazione della target, della popolazione target attraverso una personalizzazione del fabbisogno su una tipologia di persone e poi un'individuazione di soluzioni che rappresentano appunto i building blocks del programma di Mobile Health, attraverso il tutto attraverso il supporto di un algoritmo. Abbiamo voluto sfruttare l'opportunità di una metodologia che è stata messa a punto con il coinvolgimento di un ampio gruppo di stakeholders nella blueprint per la trasformazione digitale della salute e delle cure. La blueprint infatti ha elaborato una matrice di riferimento che è stata sviluppata lungo due dimensioni, la dimensione diciamo, lungo l'intero periodo della vita e lungo il fabbisogno, l'intensità del fabbisogno di salute ed ha messo a punto una serie di persone che sono un prototipo, un esempio di una tipologia di fabbisogno che è facilmente diciamo, in maniera multidisciplinare, facilmente sviluppabile appunto con un approccio incentrato sul fabbisogno. Questo è un esempio di come si presenta un'elaborazione supportata dalla blueprint e che ha rappresentato il punto di partenza per sviluppare una persona diciamo insieme all'Ungheria che come vedete si concentra su alcuni elementi di salute ma anche su alcuni elementi di tipo sociale che consentono di soddisfare tutti i bisogni espressi dalla persona. Successivamente, in base ai fabbisogni individuati dalla persona, è stato possibile delineare uno scenario di servizio che tiene conto dei diversi elementi che fanno parte della catena del valore che consente di erogare servizi all'interno di un processo di servizi personalizzato sul paese, tenendo conto appunto di tutti gli elementi caratterizzanti che sono necessari a integrare poi successivamente queste soluzioni digitali nella current practice. L'ultimo elemento che ha fatto parte, diciamo, dell'approccio metodologico che abbiamo sviluppato nel KT2 sono i building blocks, cioè le soluzioni di mobile health, che sono state per le quali abbiamo fatto riferimento alla categorizzazione dell'OMS che categorizza appunto queste soluzioni in 4 macro aree a seconda della finalità. Quindi ci sono degli interventi delle soluzioni che sono finalizzate a rispondere alle esigenze dei clienti, dei cittadini, dei pazienti, altre soluzioni che supportano interventi dalla prospettiva degli erogatori dei servizi, altri per la componente manageriale, altri ancora per il supporto dei dati, la condivisione dei dati e poi ci sono delle soluzioni che diciamo, portano un valore aggiunto perché sono di tipo trasversale e fanno riferimento al supporto dell'interoperabilità, alla qualità, eccetera, eccetera. Allora, una volta definito il fabbisogno secondo le esigenze della popolazione target individuata dal Paese, abbiamo fatto riferimento alla classificazione internazionale per i modelli funzionali, ICF, perché queste classificazioni sono sviluppate secondo un percorso definito per determinate patologie e consentono di annotare le funzioni a seconda dei codici per patologie. In questa maniera l'identificazione per codice è univoca ed è molto flessibile e consente quindi di creare un collegamento univoco con una o più soluzioni dedicate che possono contribuire a rispondere ad alcuni di questi fabbisogni funzionali. Quindi in base all'identificazione di una serie di domande diciamo, di servizio possono essere individuate una serie di soluzioni che poi vanno a intersecare appunto il fabbisogno. Gennaro è uno dei soggetti, diciamo, delle persone che sono state originariamente sviluppate dalla blueprint. Grazie alla collaborazione con i colleghi dell'Ungheria abbiamo potuto, in un team multidisciplinare, effettuare un'analisi multidimensionale del contesto all'interno del quale questo programma di mobile health andava sviluppato e adattare alcuni degli use case che erano già stati sviluppati nel contesto della blueprint per soggetti affetti da diabete mellito di tipo 2 e personalizzare questo modello di persona, e così è nato Janos. E a questo punto poi abbiamo potuto come dire, analizzare il percorso dei codici ICF dedicati al diabete, avendo in mente Janos, ed è stato possibile quindi identificare una serie di funzionalità specifiche perché l'hub non può rispondere a tutti i fabbisogni di Janos con le soluzioni mobile health, però ci sono diversi fabbisogni di Janos che possono trovare riscontro da un insieme di soluzioni di mobile health. Inoltre, dall'analisi approfondita, diciamo, dei fabbisogni di Janos è emersa immediatamente la multimorbidità, perché Janos è anche affetto da obesità, e quindi abbiamo fatto riferimento anche al course, ICF course per obesità e diabete, oltre che quello per diabete. E quindi si sono aperte altre prospettive di utilizzo di questo tool per future applicazioni. Questo è un esempio delle soluzioni che, grazie alla collaborazione e alle sinergie col KT1, siamo riusciti a identificare per proporre all'Ungheria, che possono contribuire a rispondere al fabbisogno di salute e di servizi di Janos. Questa è un'ipotesi, diciamo, una rappresentazione schematica del processo di servizi per il KT2. Vediamo che all'interno di questo imbuto rappresentato dal nostro algoritmo entrano i fabbisogni della persona e i fabbisogni del paese codificati secondo gli ACF codes, e le soluzioni che sono state identificate attraverso dei repository ampi. L'algoritmo consente un matchmaking e queste soluzioni vengono proposte al paese. Queste soluzioni saranno, l'idea che ci siamo fatti del repository è un repository ampio, all'interno del quale ci possono essere una serie di soluzioni caratterizzate da un livello maggiore o minore di innovazione e da un maggiore o minore livello di validazione, che sono però tutti funzionali ai sistemi sanitari, perché in questo sistema, il sistema salute di erogazione dei servizi è un sistema elevato turnover dell'innovazione, anche se al suo interno ci sono diversi livelli di uptake delle innovazioni, quindi a seconda delle priorità dei diversi sottosegmenti di questo mercato per la salute pubblica ci può essere un interesse per adottare una soluzione molto avanzata, che necessariamente avrà un minore livello di validazione, rispetto a una soluzione invece più validata e più sicura, tra virgolette, per una valutazione su ampia scala. In entrambi i casi abbiamo elementi di sfruttamento, tra virgolette, di questi tools e su una maggiore o minore scala di adozione. Siamo stati fortunati a partecipare a questo gruppo di tools perché abbiamo identificato diverse sinergie tra i tools che ci hanno consentito di sviluppare il KT2 in maniera più veloce, e sono anche emerse delle sinergie con un altro work package, che è quello sul capacity building e l'implementazione, diciamo così, di questo tool. Questo perché l'approccio incentrato sulla persona, usato i codici ICF, ha consentito offre l'opportunità di creare un gradiente nella maniera con la quale ciascuna diversa soluzione contribuisce a rispondere in maniera più o meno precisa ai diversi fabbisogni. Le caratteristiche chiave dell'algoritmo sono queste, cioè un'identificazione del fabbisogno effettuata attraverso l'identificazione dei codici ICF per delle patologie specifiche. Nel nostro caso, di esempio, erano quelle di Janos. Le soluzioni sono autovalutate e chi è il produttore, diciamo, di questa soluzione si assume la responsabilità di quello delle funzionalità che reclama per quella determinata soluzione. L'algoritmo fornisce un match e possono essere attaccati, diciamo così, a ciascuna delle soluzioni i dettagli sulle funzionalità, che includono una referenza chiara a quello che c'è, alle informazioni di supporto per le funzionalità reclamate, diciamo, per ciascuna soluzione. Questo consente ai sistemi sanitari di avere un enorme panorama di soluzioni che si rinnovano continuamente, perché all'interno di questi grossi repository ci sono soluzioni anche molto innovative, cutting edge. E noi proponiamo una semantica di STAR, e cioè basata sull'autovalutazione, che consente di identificare, a seconda del match, una intensità maggiore o minore, appunto, secondo la quale le soluzioni rispondono al diverso fabbisogno di salute. In questo momento il K-2 quindi fornisce un approccio metodologico basato su un algoritmo che consente di alimentare l'algoritmo con i fabbisogni personalizzati, ottenere un elenco dei servizi che possono essere messi a disposizione dei cittadini attraverso i sistemi sanitari e identificare i gruppi di soluzioni che sono disponibili per questi servizi. L'algoritmo consente di offrire in maniera graduata le soluzioni disponibili e i clienti possono scegliere quali informazioni utilizzare per decidere gli algoritmi da implementare. Dal nostro punto di vista, il valore di questo tool è sia per le regioni, i paesi e tutti gli stakeholders dei sistemi sociali e sanitari, perché si trovano davanti a un sistema che gli consente in maniera a maglie larghe di identificare le soluzioni tra cui scegliere. Per i privati, perché hanno la possibilità di valorizzare tutte le soluzioni, da quelle più avanzate a quelle con un maggior grado di validazione, perché tutte possono avere un interesse per il sistema sociale e sanitari. Per la ricerca, perché già dalla nostra analisi sono emersi dei gap di possibili fabbisogni che potrebbero essere soddisfatti da nuove soluzioni. Vorrei ringraziare innanzitutto Patrick Eklund, che è il matematico dietro l'algoritmo. Io sono endocrinologa, quindi non avrei mai potuto disegnare la componente matematica dell'algoritmo. Guido Iaccarino, che ha messo a disposizione del gruppo il suo expertise di medicina interna, che è importantissimo nell'identificazione delle soluzioni che possono rispondere a fabbisogni di multimorbidità. Vincenzo De Luca, che ci ha dato una mano per la componente tecnologica, per la valutazione delle soluzioni. Strain Birot e Sonia Müller, che sono due persone fondamentali per allineare le sinergie attraverso i diversi elementi che costituiscono diverse parti del Mobile Health Hub. Zoe Polizzi, che ci ha dato una forte chiave di lettura in senso critico per migliorare il nostro approccio. E Istvan, per i colleghi dell'Ungheria che durante la pandemia hanno trovato il tempo di lavorare con noi. Tutti i partners dell'Hub, perché è stata veramente una partecipazione molto stimolante ad un progetto completamente innovativo che può dare veramente un forte impulso all'accessibilità di tutti i tipi di servizi a tutti i cittadini. E Belen, Simone e Violetta, che hanno rappresentato la nostra guida in questo percorso a volte difficile per motivi contingenti dipendenti dalla nostra volontà, e Birgit, perché Birgit è la persona che attraverso i vari progetti e pezzi sparsi dalla Commissione europea in tanti effort ha sempre consentito che venissero valorizzati i risultati di diversi progetti. Grazie.
Grazie a te Maddalena per la tua presentazione. Vediamo ancora il tuo schermo.
Come si esce?
Ok, in alto con il cursore del mouse dovresti vedere interrompere la visione.
Ho interrotto?
Non ancora.
No.
Nel frattempo sto verificando che non ci sono domande. Tranquilla, prenditi il tempo. Dovresti andare in alto con il mouse, con il cursore. C'è ancora il tuo schermo però. Ok, perfetto, grazie mille Maddalena. E come dicevo non ci sono al momento domande, pertanto io andrei avanti e introdurrei il prossimo intervento, che di fatto è una tavola rotonda sui casi studio di programmi di implementazione di mHealth in Ungheria e Repubblica Ceca. Di fatto questo intervento sarà coordinato da Sonia Müller di Empirica e interverranno Istvan Cosa della Direzione Generale Nazionale degli Ospedali dell'Ungheria e Zdeněk Gütter del Ministero della Salute della Repubblica Ceca. Pertanto io mi taccio e lascio la parola a Sonia Müller. Grazie.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Sonia Müller. I work for Empirica, and I'm glad that I have been invited to this webinar together with the colleagues from Hungary and the Czech Republic, who are the main speakers in this slot. So forget about me a bit. Before we start, I just wanted to clarify a bit on the timing, because we are 15 minutes late, and I guess that we will have to finish on time. So how long would you like me to lead this slot? Because we don't want to steal Andrea, who is the next speaker, too much time.
I'm Andrea, don't worry about me. I can keep it even short later on.
Any guidance from the
No
organizers?
problem for the delay. No problem.
It is for me, but okay. I have to leave then at 12.
Okay.
Okay, then we start. So I welcome Istvan Koza and Zdeněk Gütter. Istvan is from the National Directorate General for Hospitals in Hungary, and Zdeněk is working for the hospital in Olomouc in the Czech Republic, and also works as an expert for the Ministry of Health in the Czech Republic. And we are here together today to explain you a bit or talk a bit about what the mHealth Hub has done together with the two countries that have been selected in order to support them in implementing an mHealth intervention. Not both support schemes focused on the actual implementation of an mHealth application. So we started from very different baseline situations in the two countries, which I think is also a good thing, because it can show how flexible the mHealth Hub can interact when supporting different countries and their specific needs. So this is what we hopefully can bring across during this talk. And as a starting point, I maybe like to ask Istvan first, what actually the starting point in your country was when the mHealth's implementation support commenced. So I think about 1 year ago.
Yes, thank you, Sonia. And many thanks for the organizers for the possibility to participate in this roundtable. 1 year ago, we was already in the development phase of two great telemedicine projects here in Hungary. One was at university level, and one was at the national level. And what we experienced that we have really colleagues who would like to deal with telemedicine and were really experienced in the field of diabetes and pre-diabetes, but we have lack of experts in the field of telemedicine. And there was in this development phase several discussion which was not really fruitful due to this lack of expertise. And this was the reason that we are happy to hear about this European initiative of mHealth Hub, which can give us support in the development of this new project and the future project of telemedicine.
Thank you, Istvan, for elaborating this a bit. And then maybe I refer to Zdeněk, because your starting point, I think, was quite different as far as I understand.
Morning. Republic is a health taking and several different
Can I interrupt you, Sedenek? Sorry. I at least cannot understand you.
Yeah,
I
me
can
too.
hear you. I can hear you, but I cannot understand you because your connection is cut all the time. I'm sorry.
That's because this doing so
Sorry, maybe if you cut the camera.
My quality, but in this period of time is very, very low. So I just healthcare, you know, digital, but there were three significant areas where the mHealth was quite good experience with partnership, innovation partnership on active and healthy aging, HA, since 2012, and with other platforms focused on innovations in EU, supported by EC or organized by EC since 2012. And during the period, mHealth became also a regular topic of EIP NHA, by the way, and not only because of the green paper, but also that the innovative applications were regarded by regions in Europe as one of the approach how to improve care in aging society with chronic diseases. So this is one of the sources, and then the background, the second view is that we have Czech National e-health strategy, which was approved in 2016, and it has also chapter dealing with mHealth and telemedicine explicitly. And there is a clear expression to create a need to create legal organizational conditions for effective, safe, and secure mHealth, as well as assessment framework for the apps. So this is the second impetus, and then the industry, SMEs, of course, over the years they have elaborated in Europe numerous apps. In the Czech Republic, they are well known too, apps that can be qualified as a clinical ones with some clinical relevance. And of course, these suppliers, usually SMEs, they seek to get reimbursement or to integrate the application into healthcare services, and this is as I have said, the third impetus to start doing something with mHealth in the Czech Republic. So this is my comment to the question.
Thank you, Sedenek.
Could you understand?
Partly. Partly. I tried to summarize a bit, although I also had some troubles to understand, but I know a bit of more background than the participants, I guess. So the starting point was quite different from what Istvan explained. So the Czech Republic is working, as far as I understand, and Selenek, correct me, of course, if I'm wrong, so far very active, but more on a political level still. So they are like having projects and political decision processes that aim to implement telemedicine applications and mHealth applications and things like that. So the support they were seeking from the mHealth Hub was, in the first place, we discussed to actually implement a cert or to support the implementation of a certain mHealth application. But then we took a step back, and also because the pandemic was still like hitting the countries with the third wave, I think it was at that point in time. So we took a step back and then decided to actually support that country with the co-development of a not a generic guideline, but a more comprehensive guideline to implement mHealth applications and to integrate them into a specific health system. So that is the idea when working with the Czech Republic. And I cannot, sorry for that, summarize everything Selenek has said, but I hope that gives you a bit of a better context in which we are working with the two countries. My next question that might be for which the answers might be interesting for the participants is whether the two of you can describe a bit what the decision process was that led to defining the support needs. Because this is always, I think, more difficult than you may think, because many stakeholders are involved and have to be involved, and sometimes support needs and desires and objectives are or can be conflicting. So I was wondering whether, and this time maybe I start with Selenek, whether you could describe a bit of how the process went on and who was involved in defining the support needs for your country when you started to work with the mHealth Hub.
Okay, I'll speak about the Czech Republic. So it is known that in 2020 there were several regions in Europe and countries that significantly progressed in inclusion of mHealth into the system of healthcare services or into the healthcare system. So particularly Spanish, Italian, and Germany, which is our neighbor. So there was a clear influence on this, let's say, foreign arm to see what to do in the Czech Republic. So it was necessary first to become familiar with the various approaches to integration of mHealth into healthcare services, and then start to design a Czech model. And the integration of mHealth into health services also includes assessment framework, obviously, and with respect to the WHO and mHealth Hub, in this respect, they both provide very invaluable source of information and support, and well targeted to the needs of the country. Then it was known at the time, it is just 1 year ago roughly, that passive waiting for effective applications to come to our table or to come to the market, it may be quite lengthy, and we need to address the chronicity of the society and the growing number of aging part of the population. So we also looked for applications which we call public health oriented applications that would demonstrate the benefits in prevention, treatment, or rehabilitation in pressing cases of diseases, particularly chronic diseases. So this is the let's say the the decision process, which was or the background of the decision process that has led that we immediately needed, or we decided that this is the right way to go, to cooperate with Mhealth Hub and to use the resources and to make them as a good source of information for our concept or for our model of Mhealth.
Thank you, Sedenek. It's quite interesting how countries are being influenced by other countries moving forward. I mean, Germany was not always like the forerunner in these applications, but we have introduced them into our system, I think 2 years ago or so it was. So it's quite interesting how this like then creates knock-on effects for other countries. And yeah, therefore, as someone from Germany, I'm quite happy to be able to support you a bit in this. So thanks. And Istvan, for Hungary, the support we give as Mhealth Hub to you is quite different. So we are working, and Madalena hinted to that a bit in her speech, we are working together on co-designing a concrete Mhealth implementation addressing patients with diabetes who are not yet on insulin, so they're on oral medicine. So what was this decision process in your case? So how did you derive at agreeing that this is, out of many needs, I guess, the one you would like to work with us on?
I think it was interesting for us that Mhealth Hub mentioned this pre-diabetes and diabetes as a special topic, interested for this initiative, and because we were working already in this field, we discussed first with the colleagues working in the eHealth network from the side of the Hungarian State Secretary for Health, that it would be interesting to participate in this process. And later we presented this initiative toward the State Secretary, and he required a statement from the side of the National eHealth board that this cooperation is really fruitful, and we received this approval. And I believe the formal, the written letter from the side of State Secretary was not generated until now, but everybody accept that this is fruitful cooperation, and we hope that the current project and the next project can be more reliable, more developed, and more stable than the earlier one.
Thank you, Istvan. I think that perfectly leads into the next question I had, which is more like looking a bit into the future and explaining a bit where you see your country in like, let's say, 5 years from now on when it comes to Mhealth application usage amongst your population.
Should I start with the answer? I
Yes,
would be very
please.
happy. I would be very happy if the eHealth would be at the same prevalence as the telemonitoring in the case of car. You know, currently it is not sold in the EU to sell car without telemonitoring or sending SMS messages in the case of accident. And I would be very happy if in 5 years I would know that every patient treated with diabetes or hypertension or high fever have in his or at least every new patient would have possibility to send signal in the case of emergency, similar as is the case in with the car or the traffic.
Yeah.
So it's not so easy. The legislation is much more advanced in the case of traffic, and I should say we should proceed also in the case of e-health and mHealth.
Yeah, and you're working hard on this, I guess.
I try.
Yeah, the comparison with traffic and cars is often made, and I agree to this in terms of having a vision, but then again, like the market forces are quite different for this sector. But yeah, hopefully your optimistic view will become reality in 5 years. And Selenek, just 1 or 2 minutes on where do you see your country in 5 years from now on when it comes to mHealth application usage in the population?
Okay, yes. So health actually was found quite complex. It's not difficult for achieving this with stakeholders. Public to find solutions acceptable for all the stakeholders within our healthcare system. So we continue education, explanation, what is mHealth and what are the major objectives of mHealth integration into health services. And this can be summarized as a creation of organizational and regulatory framework that is friendly to new mHealth applications that can bring benefits to some aspects of health services. Either for the patients, either for the system, or for the healthcare providers, or for all of three, and including insurances. So this also includes assessment framework and reimbursement scheme and handling. Also, we cannot forget about handling the applications in practice. That means how they will be distributed and supported to the patients that will use them. So we prepared a new project dedicated to telemedicine and also mHealth that is expected to be financed from a new EU Recovery and Resilience Fund. And this project should provide resources also for pilot implementations to verify the applicability to newly defined legal and organizational framework. And in addition to that, one sub-project is also focused on approach to mHealth, where the functionalities are defined by health authorities. It means what we call the public health oriented applications. And this should also be piloted. And in 5 years, we should have, by then, we should have agreed transparent environment for inclusion of mHealth applications into healthcare services, and we'll also know the potential for their potential for public health. Thank you.
Thank you, Selenek. So you're aiming high, which is good, I think, but still also promoting smaller steps with projects and pilots, which I think is also good. I mean, many people criticize the pilotitis, as they call it, but I personally think it is part of the journey. So you have to do pilots and projects in order to reach your final goal in the end. So thank you both. I personally, and I think the whole Hub team looks forward to further work with you in the next 6 months. So thank you for this. If there are any questions from the audience, you can put them in the chat, I think. If not,
no, al momento non ci sono domande. Lasciamo qualche istante se qualcuno intendesse farle. E nel frattempo colgo questo momento per ringraziare gli speaker che hanno partecipato a questa tavola rotonda per aver portato la propria esperienza, anzi le proprie esperienze e le varie difficoltà anche incontrate nel loro percorso. È molto importante comunque avere degli esempi che possano raccontare i vari percorsi. Confermo che non è arrivata ancora nessuna domanda, quindi ringrazio ancora a tutti voi, ringrazio Sonia, Isman e Zdenek e comunque nella nostra sintesi che pubblicheremo nel sito web cercheremo di riassumere anche la prima parte che purtroppo non siamo riusciti a sentire bene, ma cercheremo comunque di riportare questa sessione del webinar nella maniera più chiara possibile. E allora lascio la parola adesso all'ultimo intervento, che è di Andrea Iester di Nero su Bianco e che ci introdurrà come allineare le iniziative del Digital Innovation Hub. E a te la parola, Andrea. Grazie mille.
Thank you very much. Good morning. First of all, I hope you can hear me in a clear way, because I had some troubles until now in listening to everyone.
Tutto ok.
Is the audio fine and the video as well?
Tutto perfetto, grazie.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you. And first of all, thank you for inviting. I will keep, in any case, the introduction quite short, as my contribution is not a technical or vertical one. I would simply like to add maybe a piece of the puzzle when it comes to contribute to several things that you have already mentioned today when you talked about, upscaling and creating a one-stop shop, or not reinventing the wheel when we talk about mHealth application, but in general in digital. Well, what I'm talking about is an initiative that started last year when, together with ProMIS, we were asked if we could identify a way to involve and engage some of the digital innovation hubs we were working on, and which had also a focus on digital health. You know that digital innovation hubs are mostly and most of the times focused on smart industry and industry 4.0, but some of them, or even more of them, have also a focus on digital health. Well, our idea was to identify those who had quite a good level, at least, of experience and initiatives in the field of digital health, and try to connect them in order to better focus on this particular industry. And the idea behind that is quite simple. Well, you know better than me that most of the things in healthcare and also when it comes to test and identify how solutions are working happen at regional level. But most of the times these regional experiences remain regional ones. And the idea is then to engage the hubs which have the skills and competence to understand what is happening in local contexts, and get out of these initiatives what is working, and help these kind of solutions to be somehow first understood, and then why not transferred to other contexts. And basically, if we see it in a wider way, the idea is in the long term is to have a sort of wide test before invest platform based on the connection of all these digital innovation hubs. Each of one is most of the times focused or has ecosystems who are focused in quite different topics, which sometimes are also synergic. And by connecting them, we would like to facilitate any kind of experience before a stakeholder of the healthcare sector invests money or tries to introduce a specific technology in a specific context. And well, what we did until today is basically to engage and connect 25 digital innovation hubs of almost, most of the European countries. You still even don't see 5 additional names here, because basically we had the first discussions last week with them. 3 of them are of Germany, 1 of Austria, and another one and another one from France, and they will appear probably in a couple of weeks in the next presentation or in the next introduction that we're going to do. And yeah, well, you can see actually it from a visual rendering, but let's dive a bit very shortly into the thematic priorities that the digital innovation hubs gave us. Well, basically, they decided to focus on four main areas, which is AI, data-driven decision support systems, smart medical devices, and the use and reuse of health data. And for each of this topic, we have also identified a way to make things happen and to engage the players and the stakeholders, and in certain cases also the customers of these hubs in concrete activities. So, for instance, if we focus on AI, one of the things that we did is to connect with some running initiatives and bring in some solution providers suggested by digital innovation hubs. When it comes to data-driven decision support systems, we set up sort of exchange sessions of case studies, unfortunately only on webinars and so in online modes, but they were indeed in any case effective. In smart medical devices, we set up some B2B sessions where hospitals and solution providers were basically brought together and sit down on a virtual table to discuss about existing solutions and see if they could fit somehow to what they were looking for. And in the case of use and reuse of health data, we found out some digital innovation hub with a quite good experience in regulations and in the capacity of analyzing practices and see if the solutions could be transferred also into contexts with different regulatory frameworks in Europe. Basically, the working method that we decided to adopt has, I would say, we designed it in three different levels. We have a sort of European versus regional level approach, where basically what we are doing is we are combining digital innovation hubs to develop what the EU calls corridors. I mean, basically establishing some synergic service portfolio and help them to better focus on delivering proper services to public and private stakeholders of the healthcare sector. We have a second level which goes from the regional level to the European one, and here it's, I mean, the traditional way of finding a way to setting up new projects together and see if these projects can fit and meet unmet needs around Europe. And then we have this region versus region level, where basically the main activity is about scouting. So basically identifying, as someone of you already said, so in order to avoid to reinvent the wheel anytime, to identify who already solved the problem and bring this problem solver together with those who have a problem and who are looking for a solution. And at the end of the day, this is what we did on the first results until today. Basically, we connected already formally with 4H 2020 initiatives, where we basically brought in some of these hubs as reviewers of technologies, or in other cases as those who bring in solution providers. In terms of new project development, where we have 4 active thematic groups and who basically joined and also are participating to matchmaking events. And also out of the cooperation of these hubs, we supported some of the SMEs belonging to these hubs to participate to cascade calls under 2 running initiatives. And in terms of corridors, we have 6 hubs from 6 different countries who are basically cooperating together since 1.5 months to establish and try to establish a sort of common service portfolio only focused on digital health. And well, I think it is worth to say that this network basically still works on a sort of voluntary basis. So it has not a dedicated budget. It has only the resources of the people who found that focusing on this specific topic could be helpful and useful, especially for the digital innovation hubs, and help them, to keep an arrow focus on this specific topic. We have, out of the 25 hubs, as far as I remember, only 3 have a dedicated health focus. All the other one have a combined and mixed industry focus. So you can imagine that for them it is quite relevant and useful to be to have the opportunity to have a sort of fil rouge, so a red line that keeps them connected and together and helps them to focus really on this kind of context. Well, that's indeed all from my side. As I mentioned, I just wanted to introduce you this initiative, as I personally think it could be really relevant to forward them and to connect them to the Mhealth Hub project and to what you are doing, because I'm sure that things that they are doing, and maybe throughout this connection you can also find some relevant or interesting things for the further proceedings of your activities. Thank you very much for your attention.
Grazie mille a te Andrea per la tua presentazione. Sì, perché poi di fatto quello che è anche il ruolo di ProMIS è quello di creare sinergie, quindi avevamo il piacere che facessi appunto questa presentazione. Noi vedo il tuo schermo non è più condiviso. Vedo che non ci sono domande, non so se qualcuno ha piacere ad intervenire. Se qualcuno vuol dire qualcosa può intervenire tranquillamente.
Scusami,
Altrimenti
can I ask a question to Zdenek?
Scusate, c'è un eco molto grande. Ok, prego.
I just wanted to ask whether there was any digital innovation hub in Hungary or Czech Republic, because I am aware of the digital innovation hubs in Campania and some of them also in Italy. I was wondering whether there was any awareness of digital innovation hubs involved in health in Hungary or Czech Republic.
Non sto sentendo risposte.
No problem. Probably we should add this to the mapping. I'm looking at Sonia. No, probably we should ask this. Maybe it could be useful to ask countries if there are any digital innovation hubs when we do the assessment.
Ok, Andrea risponde che hanno 2 hub nel loro network. Thank you, Sonia.
Yeah, sorry, Madalena, I was not realizing that you addressed me. I thought you were addressing
No, I was addressing them.
Okay.
You're right. But then I told you maybe we should, as people may not think of connecting to the hubs, we may integrate this in the assessment.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I think that, I mean, to explore this, I think is a good idea. Yeah. And I'm just seeing, I mean, on another note, Andrea says they have 2 hubs in the network. So exploring this a bit further, I would agree would make sense for the hub.
Thank you, Andrea. This is important, really.
Yeah.
Because maybe it's just a hub that is grounded on academic level, and the public health system is not aware that they can connect.
Yeah, I agree. I have to leave. I'm very sorry. Thank you for inviting me. Have a good day.
Bye.
Thank you, Sonia.
Bye.
Bye. Ok, credo che nessun altro voglia intervenire. Nel caso potete tranquillamente accendere il microfono. Io ringrazio tutti i partecipanti per aver seguito il webinar. Vi ricordo nuovamente che i materiali, quindi le presentazioni, una sintesi e la registrazione di questo webinar saranno disponibili nel sito web del ProMIS a partire dalla prossima settimana. Ringrazio nuovamente tutti i relatori che hanno preso parte all'iniziativa di oggi e se avete qualche domanda da porci o da porre ai relatori, potete tranquillamente scrivere a ProMIS e ci occuperemo noi di inoltrare ai relatori piuttosto che alla mail del progetto le vostre domande. Grazie a tutti e vi informiamo l'ultima cosa che a fine mese riceverete anche un di valutazione e all'interno del quale potrete richiedere il testato di partecipazione. Quindi io ringrazio ancora tutti coloro che sono connessi, Belen, Violette, Simona, Zdenek, Cosa, Andrea e la nostra Maddalena e auguro a tutti una buona giornata.
Ciao.
Grazie
Thank
ancora.
you. Ciao.
Ciao.
Bye bye.
Ciao, bye
Thank you.
bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.